The night was pitch black, and a heavy rainstorm pounded the windshield of Jake's semi-truck as he barreled down the desolate highway. The eerie silence of the open road was shattered only by the steady hum of his engine and the relentless drumming of rain. Jake had been a long-haul trucker for years, and he'd seen his fair share of creepy rest stops and eerie encounters. But tonight, the feeling in the pit of his stomach was different. Jake had been pushing through the night to make it to his destination. The GPS showed an old, abandoned rest stop a few miles ahead. He decided it was time to pull over and grab some much-needed rest. As he approached the rest stop, the flickering neon sign gave him an unsettling feeling. The words "Riverside Rest" barely hung on, casting eerie shadows in the rain. Parking his truck under a flickering overhead light, Jake locked the doors and settled into the sleeper berth. The rain continued to pour, creating a steady white noise that should have been soothing. But it wasn't. There was something about the rest stop, something uninviting. Hours passed, and Jake's sleep was fitful. He was awakened by a strange sound, like whispers carried by the wind. He peered out the window, seeing nothing but rain-slick pavement. An uneasy feeling gnawed at him, so he decided to investigate. Grabbing a flashlight, he cautiously stepped out of the truck. The rest stop was eerie with dilapidated buildings, graffiti-covered walls, and broken windows. He moved his flashlight around, illuminating the darkness, revealing abandoned cars and rusted playground equipment, overgrown with weeds. The place had an unsettling stillness, like a ghost town. As he ventured further into the rest stop, the whispering sounds grew louder, more distinct. Jake couldn't make out the words, but they seemed to be coming from the old, decrepit restrooms. The crumbling walls were covered in strange symbols, spray-painted in crimson, adding to the ominous atmosphere. With a sense of trepidation, Jake pushed open the door to the women's restroom. The flickering overhead lights revealed an unexpected sight, a circle of old, decrepit dolls with cracked porcelain faces, each holding a red candle. The eerie whispers seemed to emanate from the dolls themselves. Jake's heart raced, and he could feel his palms becoming clammy. Before he could react, the dolls turned their heads in unison to face him, their lifeless eyes now piercing and malevolent. The whispers grew louder, the voices distorted and sinister. Panic coursed through Jake as he stumbled backward out of the restroom, slamming the door behind him. He rushed back to his truck, breathing heavily, unable to shake the feeling of dread that had enveloped him. His hands trembled as he fumbled for his keys. Just as he was about to start the engine and speed away from the Riverside Rest, he glanced in the side mirror and froze. Standing behind his truck was a figure, cloaked in a tattered, mud-soaked robe, its face obscured by a hood. It had materialized out of nowhere, and its presence sent chills down Jake's spine. It began to approach the truck, moving with a slow and deliberate gait. The truck roared to life, and Jake slammed his foot on the gas pedal, tearing out of the rest stop with the hooded figure in pursuit. The rain-soaked road became a blur as terror gripped him. But as he glanced back in the mirror, he realized the figure was no longer chasing him. It had vanished into thin air. What had he stumbled upon at the Riverside Rest, and who was the hooded figure? The questions haunted Jake as he continued down the desolate highway, unsure of what chilling horrors awaited him in the next stretch of his journey. Jake drove through the night, putting as much distance as possible between himself and the Riverside Rest stop. The rain had subsided, but his heart was still racing, and his mind was plagued by the haunting encounter. As dawn broke, he found himself at a nondescript gas station, where he decided to stop and grab some coffee, hoping it would help him shake off the lingering fear. Inside the dimly lit gas station, the clerk, a weathered old man with a grizzled beard, looked up from his newspaper and studied Jake with a knowing glance. "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said. Jake couldn't help but share his unsettling experience at the Riverside Rest stop, describing the whispers, the eerie dolls, and the hooded figure. The old man's eyes widened, and he leaned in closer. "You're lucky to be alive," the old man whispered. "That place is cursed." Cursed? Jake was skeptical, but the fear in the old man's eyes was undeniable. He went on to tell Jake a chilling tale of the Riverside Rest stop. Decades ago, it was a notorious gathering place for a secretive cult, a group of individuals who worshipped dark forces. They performed sinister rituals there, leaving behind a trail of inexplicable and horrifying events. The old man explained that those whispers were the voices of the cult members who had perished at the rest stop. The dolls, he said, were used as vessels to trap their souls, and the hooded figure, the guardian of their unholy shrine. Jake couldn't believe what he was hearing, but the old man's conviction was unwavering. Before leaving the gas station, the old man handed Jake a small amulet, a crude symbol etched into a piece of worn leather. "Take this, son. It'll protect you from the curse that lingers there," he said. As Jake continued his journey, he couldn't shake off the unsettling revelation. He decided to reroute his trip, avoiding the Riverside Rest stop at all costs. But as he drove further down the highway, he noticed that the weather had taken a turn for the worse. The sky had grown dark and foreboding, and the rain had returned in torrents. And a strange feeling of dread washed over him as he realized that he was heading right back towards the cursed rest stop. It was as if an unseen force was pulling him in. Panic surged, and he desperately tried to change course, but the GPS seemed to have a mind of its own, guiding him back to the dreaded location. And with a sense of inevitability, he found himself once again at the Riverside Rest stop. The eerie neon sign still flickered, and the rain continued to pour. The old, decrepit dolls were gone, but the crimson symbols on the restroom walls seemed to pulsate with an unholy energy. Then, in the rearview mirror, he saw it, the hooded figure standing at the edge of the rest stop, beckoning him with a bony, outstretched hand. The amulet the old man had given him began to burn against his chest, and he clutched it, hoping it would protect him. The hooded figure advanced, its footsteps silent as it closed in on the truck. Jake's heart pounded in his chest as he faced the chilling reality that he could not escape the curse of the Riverside Rest stop. The amulet's power waned, and the darkness threatened to consume him as the hooded figure spread.